Uffizi Gallery, Florence, Italy. Location and building: city and region: Florence, Tuscany, Italy. Exact address: Piazzale degli Uffizi, 6, Florence, 50,122, just steps from Piazza della Signoria, and alongside the Arno River surroundings, north. Piazza della Signoria, political center of Florence, south Arno River, with a direct view towards the Ponte Vecchio, connected by the Vasari corridor to Palazzo Vecchio, Florence's town hall, and the Pitti Palace across the river. The building name, origin, Uffizi, means offices in Italian, as it was originally built to house administrative and judicial offices of Florence. Commissioned by Cosimo I de' Medici, Duke of Florence, in 1560. Architect Giorgio Vasari. Court architect, painter, and historian. Design: a long U-shaped Renaissance palace, creating an elegant courtyard, the Piazzale degli Uffizi, that visually opens towards the river. Central open-air passage aligns with the river, offering one of Florence's most iconic city views, rich in classical columns, arches, and symmetrical facades, showcasing Florentine Renaissance architecture. Later additions: after Vasari's death, construction was continued by Alfonso Parigi and Bernardo Buontalenti, completed in 1581. The Vasari corridor, built in 1565, connected the Uffizi with Palazzo Vecchio and Pitti Palace, allowing the Medici to move securely between residences. Over centuries, interior modifications transformed the building from government offices into one of the world's greatest art galleries. History and governance. Origins, commission, and foundation: 1560. The Uffizi was commissioned by Cosimo I de' Medici, Duke of Florence, as new administrative and judicial offices for the Florentine magistrates. Architect, designed by Giorgio Vasari, the most prominent Renaissance architect, painter, and historian of the Medici court. Completion: after Vasari's death, construction continued under Alfonso Parigi the Elder and Bernardo completed in 1581. Transformation into an art gallery. Medici collections. The Medici family were passionate collectors of art, ancient statues, scientific instruments, and rare manuscripts. Francesco I de' Medici, 1574 to 1587, transformed the upper floors into a private gallery, displaying masterpieces for distinguished guests. 17th century, Grand Duke Ferdinand I and later rulers expanded the collections with artworks from across Europe. From private to Publicato di Famiglia, 1737, when the last Medici heir, Anna Maria Luisa de' Medici, died, she ensured the family's vast art collection remained in Florence. She signed the family pact, stipulating the works could never be removed from the city. First public access: 1769. The Uffizi began opening parts of its collection to the public under Grand Duke Peter Leopold of Lorraine. 19th century. It was officially recognized as one of the earliest modern museums in Europe. Governance and management: 20th century. The museum expanded significantly, adding galleries, conservation laboratories, and better visitor facilities. Today, overseen by the Italian Ministry of Culture, Ministero della Cultura, managed as part of the Polo Museo Fiorentino, which coordinates Florence's major museums, directed by appointed art historians and museum professionals who oversee exhibitions, acquisitions, and conservation. Key historical events: 1966, Arno flood, damaged thousands of artworks and manuscripts. Massive international conservation efforts followed. 1993 Mafia bombing. A car bomb exploded nearby, killing 5 people and damaging parts of the gallery. Restoration campaigns saved most masterpieces. 21st century renovations, modernized galleries, security and climate control systems to protect the fragile Renaissance works collection highlights the Uffizi Gallery houses, one of the world's greatest collections of Renaissance and European art, spanning from the Middle Ages to the 18th century. The collection reflects the tastes and power of the Medici dynasty, enriched over centuries by acquisitions, commissions, and gifts. Major artistic periods: medieval and Gothic art. 13th-14th centuries, early Italian masters like Cimabue and Giotto. Early Renaissance, 15th century, pioneers such as Masaccio, Fra Angelico, Filippo Lippi, and Piero della Francesca. High Renaissance, 16th century, works by Leonardo, Michelangelo, Raphael, and Titian. Mannerism and Baroque, 16th-17th centuries, Bronzino, Vasari, Caravaggio, and Artemisia Gentileschi. Northern European masters, paintings by Albrecht Dürer, Hans Holbein, Peter Paul Rubens, and Rembrandt. Iconic masterpieces: Sandro Botticelli, The Birth of Venus c. 1484 to 1486, one of the most celebrated works of the Renaissance, depicting Venus emerging from the sea. Primavera c. 1482, an allegorical masterpiece filled with mythological symbolism. Leonardo da Vinci c. 1472, one of his earliest major works, showcasing his mastery of perspective. Adoration of the Magi unfinished. 1481, complex composition, left incomplete when Leonardo moved to Milan. Michelangelo, Buonarrotondone, Tondo, The Holy Family c. 1506, the only known panel painting by Michelangelo, displaying vibrant colors and muscular figures. Raphael, Madonna of the Goldfinch c. 1505, serene and harmonious depiction of the Virgin Mary with Jesus and John the Baptist. Titian, Venus of Urbino, 1538, a sensual and revolutionary portrayal of the reclining nude. Caravaggio, Medusa c. 1597, painted on a ceremonial shield, capturing Medusa's terror at the moment of beheading. Bacchus c. 1595, dramatic representation of the Roman god of wine, balancing sensuality with realism. Giotto di Bondoniagnisti, Madonna Sea, 1310, a pivotal work bridging medieval Gothic style and Renaissance naturalism. Filippo Lippi, Madonna and Child with Two Angels, c. 1465, delicate and tender, a hallmark of early Renaissance elegance. Other highlights: works by Artemisia Gentileschi, Andrea del Sarto, Fra Angelico, Piero della Francesca, and Bronzino. Classical sculptures from the Medici collection, including Roman and Hellenistic works. A major collection of self-portraits by artists from the Renaissance to the present day. Collection overview: total holdings: over 100,000 works, paintings, sculptures, prints, and drawings. On display, around 1,500 to 2,000 works in rotating exhibitions. Special rooms: Botticelli rooms, dedicated to the birth of Venus and Primavera. Leonardo room showcasing early Da Vinci works. Michelangelo and Raphael rooms, highlighting high Renaissance art. Caravaggio and Baroque rooms, dramatic works of the 17th century. Cabinet of prints and drawings, one of the largest graphic art collections in the world, accessible for study. Closing parenthesis. Architecture and expansions: original design architect Giorgio Vasari, 156 01574. Court artist and historian of the Medici family. Purpose: built to house the administrative and judicial offices, Uffizi of Florence, under Cosimo, ID. Medici. Style: Renaissance, characterized by balance, symmetry, and classical proportions. Layout: A U-shaped palace with a central open-air courtyard. Piazzale degli Uffizi. The courtyard serves as a visual street leading directly to the Arno River, framing a dramatic view of the water and Ponte Vecchio. Columns, arches, and loggias reflect classical Roman influence adapted into Florentine elegance. Structural elements: courtyard piazzale, narrow, elongated courtyard that feels like an outdoor gallery, decorated with statues of great Florentine figures, added in the 19th century. Upper floors, initially storage and display space for Medici art collections, later transformed into exhibition halls. Vasari Corridor 1565, built by Vasari for Cosimo I to connect Palazzo Vecchio, Government Palace, with Pitti Palace, Medici residence, runs above the Ponte Vecchio, allowing the Medici to move privately and safely, lined with paintings, including a famous collection of self-portraits by artists from Renaissance to modern times. Later expansions and modifications, 1581, completed under Alfonso Parigi the Elder and Bernardo Buontalenti after Vasari's death. 17th-18th centuries, transformation of the top floor into a gallery for the Medici. Art collection 19th century, opened more systematically as a public museum, with halls reorganized by artistic school and period 20th century, addition of conservation laboratories, study rooms, and modern storage facilities. Modern renovations and expansions. 1966 flood of the Arno River led to significant damage. Restoration works reinforced the structure and improved flood protection. 1993. Mafia bombing destroyed parts of the building. Careful restoration returned it to full function. 21st Century Nuovi Uffizi project. Reorganization of galleries for better chronological flow. Expansion of exhibition space, nearly doubling the number of works on display. Introduction of improved lighting, climate control, and security systems. Dedicated rooms for Caravaggio, Leonardo, Michelangelo, and Raphael today. The Uffizi seamlessly blends Renaissance architecture with modern museum technology, making it one of the most advanced and beautiful art museums in the world. Visitor information. Opening hours: Tuesday, Sunday, 8:15 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Last admission at 5:30 p.m. Closed every Monday. New Year's Day, January 1st. Christmas Day, December 25th. Special evenings. Occasionally extended hours during peak tourist seasons or special events. Tickets and entry: standard ticket, €12 low season November, February €20 high season, March-October reduced tickets. Discounts available for EU citizens ages 18 to 25. Students and seniors. Free admission. Children under 18. First Sunday of each month can be very crowded, closing parenthesis. International Museum Day, May 18th. Reservations, highly recommended, especially in peak season, to avoid long queues. Online booking is available. Facilities and services: guided tours, available in multiple languages. Both group and private. Audio guides offer detailed commentary about major works and rooms. Bookshop, wide selection of art books, guides, and souvenirs. Caf Terrace, located on the roof, offering panoramic views of Florence, including the Duomo and Palazzo Vecchio. Cloakroom. Free service for bags, umbrellas, and large items, mandatory for backpacks. Accessibility, wheelchair accessible. Entrances, lifts, and services for visitors with disabilities. Best time to visit early morning, 8:15 to 10 a.m. Fewer crowds. Better for viewing famous works like Botticelli's Birth of Venus. Late afternoon, after 4 p.m., less busy, more relaxed experience. Off-season, November to February, is the quietest period, offering easier access and shorter lines. Peak season, April to October. Expect large crowds and long waits without reservation. Tips for visitors: book tickets in advance to skip long queues, especially for Botticelli's rooms and Leonardo's works. Plan at least 2 to 3 hours. The Uffizi is vast. Art lovers may spend half a day or more. Map your route. Prioritize highlights. If short on time, Botticelli, Leonardo, Michelangelo, Raphael, Caravaggio, Titian. Photography allowed without flash. Tripods and selfie sticks are prohibited. Combine with nearby sites. The Uffizi is next to Piazza della Signoria, Palazzo Vecchio, and a short walk from the Duomo. Recent enhancements and exhibitions: modern renovation projects. Nuovi Uffizi project. 2006 to 2019. A large-scale modernization initiative to expand gallery space and improve visitor experience. Exhibition space nearly doubled, allowing more works from the collection to be displayed. Reorganized rooms for a chronological flow of art history, making navigation clearer. Advanced LED lighting systems and climate control installed to protect artworks. New facilities for conservation, research, and accessibility were added. Digital enhancements, introduction of virtual tours and digital catalogs. Of the collection, mobile app guides for visitors with interactive maps and audio commentary. New gallery rooms, Caravaggio rooms, 2018, expanded to showcase Medusa, Bacchus, and other Baroque masterpieces. Raphael and Michelangelo Hall, dedicated space for Doni Tondo and Raphael's. Madonna of the Goldfinch, Botticelli rooms, renovated with modern lighting to better display the birth of Venus and Primavera. Self-portrait corridor. Ongoing expansion of the famous self-portrait collection, including works by contemporary artists. Temporary and special exhibitions. The Uffizi frequently hosts rotating exhibitions, often focusing on Renaissance studies or thematic explorations. Recent highlights include Women in Art 201, 82020, showcased works by female artists like Artemisia, bringing long overlooked masters into the spotlight. Treasures of the Medici, 2019, rare Medici artifacts and manuscripts displayed alongside paintings. Uffizi Diffusi, Project 2021 ongoing, a program to loan artworks to smaller museums and cultural sites across Tuscany, spreading cultural heritage beyond Florence. Contemporary dialogues, exhibits placing modern or contemporary artists in dialogue with Renaissance works, bridging past and present. Future plans: continued expansion of the Nuovi Uffizi master plan, including opening more rooms on the first and second floors, new spaces for sculpture and classical antiquities, increased focus on education and multimedia experiences, ongoing acquisitions and partnerships with international museums to enrich the collection. Popularity and cultural impact, visitor numbers, and global standing. Annual visitors, approximately 4 million people per year, making it one of the most visited museums in Italy and consistently ranking among the top art museums worldwide. Tourism magnet, alongside the Louvre Paris and the Prado Madrid. The Uffizi is a must-see destination for art lovers and general tourists alike. Florence's cultural heart serves as the centerpiece of Florence's museum cluster, drawing millions who also visit the Accademia, Michelangelo's David, and the Pitti Palace. Cultural and artistic influence, birthplace of Renaissance art appreciation. The Uffizi embodies Florence's role as the cradle of the Renaissance, shaping how the world perceives Western art history. Educational value, essential resource for scholars, art historians, and students worldwide who study its masterpieces. Art canon. Formation works like Botticelli's The Birth of Venus and Michelangelo's Donne Tondo are cultural icons, frequently featured in textbooks, documentaries, and media. Symbol of Italian identity, represents Italy's immense artistic heritage and Florence's prestige in the global cultural landscape. In literature, film, and media, featured in films such as A Room with a View 1985 and Don Brown's Inferno 2016, which significantly boosted tourist numbers. Regularly referenced in novels, documentaries, and travel writing as one of Europe's artistic jewels. Its iconic courtyard, Piazzale degli Uffizi, has become a symbol of Florence in postcards and media. Global outreach. Uffizi Diffusi Project 2021 ongoing, lending artworks across Tuscany to decentralize cultural tourism and allow smaller towns to benefit virtual exhibitions during the COVID-19 pandemic. The museum expanded digital access, offering online tours, live streams, and social media campaigns, reaching millions worldwide. Collaborations, works often travel on loan to international exhibitions, reinforcing Florence's role in global art diplomacy. Cultural significance seen as a time capsule of Western civilization. Preserving the Medici legacy inspires artists, writers, and filmmakers with its blend of Renaissance brilliance and Medici history. Functions as both a scholarly institution and a popular attraction, balancing elite research with mass tourism. A living symbol of how Florence's Renaissance innovations shaped modern Europe and continue to inspire creativity worldwide. Security and modern challenges. Security measures. Systems. The Uffizi is equipped with advanced CCTV cameras, motion detectors, and infrared sensors to monitor galleries 24/7. Climate control. Temperature and humidity are tightly regulated to protect fragile Renaissance paintings, especially panel works by Leonardo, Botticelli, and Michelangelo. Anti-theft protections. Major works, for example, The Birth of Venus, Primavera, Donne Tondo, are safeguarded by armored glass, alarms, and strict visitor barriers. Fire safety. Modern fire detection and suppression systems protect both art and visitors without causing water damage to the collection. Vasari corridor, closed for decades due to safety concerns, now undergoing restoration and reinforcement for controlled reopening. Historical incidents and lessons. 1966 Arno River flood. Water and mud devastated thousands of artworks and manuscripts, triggered a worldwide conservation movement and the rise of Florence's restoration laboratories. 1993 Mafia bombing via Dejo. Attack. Car bomb exploded near the Uffizi, killing 5 people and damaging priceless artworks. Some paintings, like those by Rubens and Gerardo del Notti, suffered irreparable losses, strengthened museum security, and led to heightened awareness of cultural heritage protection. Visitor-related challenges: overcrowding, with approximately 4 million annual visitors. Congestion in Botticelli and Leonardo rooms remains a problem. The museum has introduced timed entry tickets to manage flow. Tourism pressure. Florence's dependency on mass tourism means the Uffizi must balance accessibility with preservation. Photography issues. Flash photography and handling risks pose ongoing threats, though strictly regulated. Modern challenges: conservation needs. Renaissance panels are highly vulnerable to environmental shifts, requiring constant monitoring. Digital demands. Increasing expectations for virtual access. Online collections and global outreach strain resources. Climate change. Rising flood risks from the nearby Arno River remain a serious long-term threat. Despite improved defenses since 1966, global art competition. Other major museums compete for international exhibitions, requiring the Uffizi to innovate in curation and visitor engagement. COVID-19 pandemic. Temporary closures in 2022-2021 caused financial strain. Accelerated digital engagement, virtual tours, social media campaigns, which now remains a permanent strategy. Uffizi Gallery, summary table, aspect details, name, Uffizi Gallery, Galleria, degli, Uffizi location, Piazzale, degli, Uffizi 6, Florence, Tuscany, Italy, founded, built, commissioned in 1560 by Cosimo I de' Medici. Completed in 1581, architect Giorgio Vasari, with Alfonso Parigi and Bernardo Blantalenti, finishing original purpose. Offices Uffizi, for Florentine magistrates, converted to museum first, opened to the public in 1769, underground. Duke Peter Leopold governance overseen by Italian Ministry of Culture. Ministero della Cultura, collection size 100,000 plus works, paintings, sculptures, drawings, prints on display, around 1,500 to 2,000 works at any given time. Focus Renaissance masterpieces, especially Florentine and Italian artists. Famous works: Botticelli, Birth of Venus, Primavera, Leonardo da Vinci, Annunciation, Michelangelo, Donatella, Raphael, Madonna of the Goldfinch, Titian, Venus of Urbino, Caravaggio, Medusa, Bacchus. Architecture: Renaissance U-shaped palace with central courtyard. Vasari corridor connects to Palazzo Vecchio and Pitti Palace. Annual visitors: 4,000,001 of Italy's most visited museums. Opening hours: Tuesdays Sun, 8:15 a.m. 6:30 p.m. Closed Mondays, January 1st. December 25th. Tickets €12, low season, €20, high season. Free on first Sundays, and for children under 18. Facilities: guided tours, audio guides, cafe terrace, bookshop, cloakroom. Accessibility services: recent enhancements, Nuovi Uffizi project, expanded galleries, LED lighting, climate control, new Botticelli, Caravaggio, Raphael rooms. Major challenges: overcrowding, conservation, flood risk, organized crime, 1993 bombing, climate change, digital transition. Cultural impact: icon of the Renaissance. Major tourist attraction, featured in films A Room with a View, Inferno. Global art influencing. Ding. Note: the Uffizi Gallery is not only a museum, but a living monument to the Renaissance, preserving the legacy of Florence's golden age. Born from the vision of the Medici family and designed by Vasari as a palace of power, it has evolved into one of the world's most celebrated art collections. From Botticelli's ethereal Birth of Venus to Michelangelo's powerful Doni Tondo, its masterpieces reflect the genius of human creativity. Today, the Uffizi continues to inspire millions. balancing its role as a guardian of priceless treasures with the demands of a modern global audience. As a cultural beacon, it reminds us that Florence was, and still is, a birthplace of beauty, knowledge, and artistic innovation.